Everyone, thanks so much for being here. This is our All Black Everything Roundtable, which we do Thursdays, 8 p.m. Eastern. Thanks so much, everyone, for stopping by. If you watch this on YouTube, please like, comment, and subscribe. Let's introduce our guests. Excited to do so. We'll start with GSU Gambit. Gambit, thanks for stopping by. Gambit's extremely busy these days, but he came through nonetheless. Right, and in fact, he even came up with one of the questions. So, and he really wanted to discuss it. So let's do it. Gambit, how are you today?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. And there's a lot of stuff that I can't say, but I'm doing good. Life has been awesome. I'm blessed. Happy to be here. I'll say that.
Thank you. Next we have Jay Cooks Nada. Thank you for stopping by. I haven't seen you in a little bit. She's been off not cooking anything, apparently.
Yeah, just gallivanting around, you know? Yeah, I'm doing all right. I guess it has been a minute. Just work's been busy. That's it. Yeah, work's been busy. Good things.
Don't know anything about that. Yeah. But
I make movies, so it's busy now.
you make
it's busy.
movies?
Yeah, I'm a producer.
Wait,
What?
the type that
Fire.
we were talking about,
Get the
or
flames.
you talking about like regular movies?
Like documentaries and narrative
Oh.
films.
Not the stuff that you watch on stream. Gotcha. Okay.
No.
Okay. That means like I should definitely check out her stream because it sounds like something exciting is happening there. I don't know what. But yeah, I didn't. I feel like you maybe mentioned this before, but it didn't really register to me. Yeah, you're a producer. Like, have you produced anything you might have heard of?
I just started at this company like in the fall. But they made the film "Won't You Be My Neighbor," like the Mr. Rogers documentary.
Wow.
A few years back, and we actually just
Good.
announced another pretty big one, but I don't want to like doc
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, Prime just
Right.
died out here.
No.
I'm joking.
Yeah. Okay, but seriously, Jay Cook, that's really awesome, and we love to see Black people on the come up. All right. Next, we have Smooth, who's not ready now. Now that Smooth, it's been a long time since we have seen you here, man. Like, happy to have you around. I hit this guy up all the time to get him on. But yeah, I'm glad you're able to accept tonight.
Yeah, man, I didn't been moving, man. I'm glad to be a part of this. Like, I didn't move. I was like had some other work stuff going on. It's funny that she mentioned films. I'm also like in film as well, but I'm not gonna, just like her, I'm not gonna say the project till it's done. Yeah, also because I'm normally in California, but now I'm in South Carolina. But the project's still ongoing, so I probably gotta fly back at some point. But yeah.
What's your position? I mean, not like what you're doing, but like your position there.
Like, so I'm a producer as well. Like, so like I'm
yeah, making connections. Love it. Like, yeah. That's actually really amazing. All right, yeah, I love to see people like spread their wings and flying.
This is my first one, so we're gonna see. We're gonna see what happens.
This is beautiful.
Dope,
Yeah. Good job to all. Good job to all. Right. Next, we'll go to Fanatic. His occupation is host, apparently. So my man Fanatic is back with us. He's like, all right, no, I'll just leave.
He didn't know he could just edit that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think he's on mute too.
Yeah, I think he's on mute on his end. But we'll Fanatic will be here soon. We'll hit up Django LeBur. Django, thanks for coming back. It's also been quite a bit since you've been here. How are you, Django?
I'm good. Like I said, studying more feels really fun to learn computer science. I'm not gonna lie, so take advantage of talking to Gambit, and it's good to be here.
All right. A Fanatic. You're back with us.
I don't know what that whole thing was all about. You know what I mean? Yeah, listen, I'm really happy to be here. I really love this topic. There's no way this conversation won't be interesting. I am a musician. That's what I do for a living, and a Christian. That's kind of the ideology that kind of drives me and my motivating force. I do the Fanatic Show on Wednesdays and the Nigga Panel on Tuesdays, where we discuss not just black issues, we discuss all issues, but just black folks doing it, which is obviously just going to give you better takes. And as a musician, it's great to know that there's two producers in here. I'm definitely going to have to contribute some music to some of you guys' projects. I'm currently producing music for one project, the video game, civil rights-based Phoenix Wright video game. I've done 3 songs for it already. I have 3 more to go. And I'm like really excited. And I'm finally getting more into the music production sphere for like composition for other projects. On top of the albums that I've released and stuff. So that's good. Everything is going good and my relationship is going strong. I don't know, life is looking up. I'm kind of feeling everything. The vibes are good. I'm excited for this conversation too. It's about to go ham, I promise.
Okay. Video game production for music. Wow. Like, this dude. This group of people, right? This is a small group of people. Look how far they're going. Every single one of them. Ah, man, I love it. I love to see it, right? And even if you're out there, you're not in like a great position at this point. Like, I feel you. Keep working at it, right? I can assure you, not everyone here was in the position that they are now. So like, keep grinding out there, all right? We're out here to support everyone, no matter what your color. Doesn't matter if you're not black. That's fine. But yeah, we're out here to support. So yeah, and people are working hard and trying to make their dreams come true, and we're here for it. And share with us. Okay, so let's get to the topic now. This feel good shit. All right, that's enough of that. Let's talk about how let's insult each other's intelligences. Topic 1. Cam Newton is in the news for expressing questionable views about women. He talks about how women should be quiet and let men lead. Do you think this view is common in the black community? Do you think that Cam deserves the criticisms he is getting? Or is he simply describing a family dynamic that some people prefer, and while not progressive, works for them? So yeah, Cam Newton was, I don't know. He's a football player. Someone here will be able to fill in those blanks. Is a football player, and he was being interviewed by this podcast type thing, and I can put the interview in chat. I'll use the link that you gave me, Gambit. Cool. But yeah, he was being interviewed, and he gave his opinions on family, right? So here it is in Twitch chat. He was giving his opinions on family and women, right? And talking about the type of household he wants, and that is like good and proper. And he said lots of stuff about like women's roles, and there's been backlash. So that's what we're going to discuss, right? This traditional sense, maybe, of marriage. So we'll start with a GSU Gambit.
Yeah, so I don't know how many people got to watch the whole interview. I literally fell asleep trying to watch it earlier. That's why I was a little second late. But it was such a dope conversation. The fact that the media has made this bad is like laughable almost. But in the clip, he was talking about the type of household he was raised in, where he had a strong father, and he feels like that was very influential his life to have a really positive figure. I have no problem with the type of family structure that he is saying that people should have. I think it's wonderful. I think the statistics on what the result of that household is on average versus others is very clear. So I'm a very big fan of everything that he said. I do think this is traditional talk in the black circles that I'm in. It's not traditional for Twitch because Twitch is a bit insane. But yeah, so I take no problems at all what he said, and there's a bunch of other things that they talked about. But I'll try to stay on this topic if I can. But the entire interview was slaps, like, guys.
So yeah, and for everyone else, so I got 2 links. The one is the full interview. The second one I put in Twitch chat is the more condensed version. It takes those comments on we're specifically talking about. So you can look at that as well. if you just want to get to it. All right, let's go to Jay Cook.
Okay. I actually didn't hear about this until it was brought up. So I'm not sure when this interview happened, but and I'm
I think
not
within the
familiar.
last week.
Oh, really? Okay.
I think so.
I
I've
think
just
so.
I think the YouTube video is 4 days.
It's like a few days, yeah, 3 or 4.
Oh, okay. I just didn't hear anything about it. So I guess the criticism, I don't think the criticism was that outlandish. I feel like if it would have been a bigger thing, I don't know, I guess I would have heard about it, but maybe not. I do believe I watched the video, the shortened video with the commentary that you had posted to us, Prime, but I do agree with Gambit that this is unfortunately I I do agree that this is something that's commonplace in our community, but I, I don't think it's like a progressive ideology, right? Like I don't think that thinking opposite of this is progressive. I just think it's maybe untraditional, for lack of a better word, and like less religious. Because I think that is associated with some of the views that he has, in my opinion. But yeah, I disagree. So I think we're gonna Gamut. That's the only point I'm gonna agree with you on, pretty much for the
Cool.
rest of the panel.
Okay, thank you so much. Next, we will go to Django LeBur.
It felt weird when I was watching it, and he had some criticisms for females or for bad bitches specifically that he didn't, and he had like almost none for men. It was really weird. Where he was like, females learn to cook, and by cook obviously he doesn't mean just cook. He means fill your spot in the relationship, to which he is saying like his household duties, right? And then second, no one to shut up and then the third was let your man lead. Okay. The first one, I think you can easily levy that towards guys too, where it's like, hey, whatever you agree on is your spot in the relationship, is like you need to fill that role. So I think that's not the worst thing in the world, where you could easily say to someone like, if you're trying to be a bad bitch and you're neglecting your role in a relationship, whatever that is, that's gonna fuck up your relationship. Secondarily, wow, I'm so bad. I already forgot that. Know when to close your mouth. I think is, again, that's easily towards guys too. Guys need to learn to shut up and listen sometimes. And I could easily say that to both sides. Like it's not a one side type of thing. But then letting your man lead, I think that it's not specifically the man that has to lead all the time. If it's that dynamic that you chose, and I don't think he's saying that it is like the dynamic you can choose. I think he's saying the dynamic you should choose, and I don't agree with that. If you don't want to choose that, it's whatever. As long as you have people who are engaged in the children's lives, and people who are trying to like lead in a good way, I don't see that it has to be the man or the woman. It just has to be that you're allowing and trusting each other in that relationship to guide that kid's life. I think that's way more important than just saying the man has to do it. It seems to be a conversation topic that I've heard a little bit, but I kind of looked into how people act more, and from what I could find, a lot of black households have guys filling up more household roles. So while I think it's very possible that it's more likely a talking point, I think it's also very possible that guys are more willing to, like, I guess, be more okay with like taking on roles that are traditionally like female roles, I guess, like household chores and all that. Yeah, that's about it.
Okay, smooth.
Okay, so I want to say like I don't disagree with anything Cam said, because when you listen to it in full context, nothing wrong with what he said, because he said, first of all, he said to me. You say to me, that's your personal feelings. So I really don't see why people are upset about how he wants to run his house, like, and how he wants to see his relationships go. Like, he's talking about for himself. He didn't say, "Hey, I want everybody to be this way." Yeah, he has a set of people that he doesn't like how they are in relationships. You know, that's how he framed it. You know what I'm saying? That's what he said. Do I agree with him there? Not all the way, but like, you know, again, that's his personal preference. Like he said, he doesn't like women like that. He likes more of a traditional woman. So that's his prerogative. He also had criticisms for men that he laid out as well. He told men to be a man. Don't you know what I'm saying? Don't be. I can't exactly remember it, but he did have criticism for men at the same time. So I don't have. What now?
I think he said, "Don't be a sucker" or something like that. I think
Yes,
that was like,
yeah.
He said don't be a sucker, but he said some other things too about
Yeah.
about being a man as well in the longer full thing.
Exactly.
Because I watched some of this while I was at work. But that's about it. That's how I feel about it.
Okay. Yeah, don't worry, we're gonna have a fight about this. Next we got my man Fanatic.
And I just needed to unmute my mic before I spoke. So we're gonna have a fight about it for sure. Yeah, I checked for myself. Yeah, listen. I kind of salute Cam Newton. I think I really like his perspective. I think his perspective is particularly common within the Black community. What you'll find is that Black people are incredibly socially conservative, and he just is expressing traditional values. And part of what is being conservative is like adherence towards traditional values. And I think that those values make all the sense in the world, because when it comes to relationships, what you'll find is that like people like the idea of freedom, but what they also like is a lot of people like things that are familiar and that are traditional, and especially things that have better outcomes. And so while we love the idea of giving people the freedom to do whatever the freak they want to do, and like women, I like the idea that women are coming into their own, doing what's fulfilling to them, and some of that is being a bad bee or whatever. Like the thing is, you can do that, but then you start recognizing that men don't want that. And so what he's expressing is what I believe is a common belief, that very often men do not want a bad bee. What they really want is somebody that's able to like be their counterpart. Men love the idea of fulfilling the role of being the provider, of being the person that's like the breadwinner and things like that. And they also recognize that they want a wife that's going to be able to help them make a home and things like that. This is a very common belief. So then he's basically saying all of that energy about being a bad bee, being a top dog, being an alpha, like you can do that and be an alpha, and then like get yourself a body pillow and hug that at night, so that way you have something to sleep next to, because there's going to be plenty of dudes that aren't about that energy. And lastly, what ends up happening is you have these women that decide to be these bad bees and making all these profits, and then you have these dudes that are saying, yeah, listen, you're going to be the right now girl for me. You're not the right girl for me, you're the right now. And as a bad bee, you've made all these resources, so I'm going to go ahead and supply you with some good dick so that you can go ahead and start helping me with these resources. And then when it's time for me to actually settle down, I'm going to settle down with the non-bad bee, but somebody that actually has all of the values and things that I'm actually looking for in a woman, and that you've helped me get to the next level. And that's exactly what's happening with these women, and they're going to be upset about it, but that's just the life that we're living. That's the goals of most people. So you can do what you want for you, but don't be surprised when the people that don't want you are using you for your resources and going on and settling down with the non-bad bees that actually are more attractive.
Wow.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, we're gonna fight. So I disagree. If you said you agreed with him, then I disagree with you. Because I think Cam Newton is proving himself to be a piece of shit. Right. So you're saying, Smooth says, he says it's for me. Like for me, like I prefer a woman like this. Like these are my personal preferences. That's it, right? That's not just what he's doing, though, right? So I'm not gonna let him hide behind that fucking smoke screen, right? When he is giving prescriptions for people in general. That's what he's trying to do, right? But he's high. It's just my preferences, right? It's like I just prefer, like just for me, right? I just prefer like not to interact with people of other races. But that's just for me. You guys do what you want to do, but just for me, yeah, I just kind of prefer not to. Like they're not really reliable, and let me give you all these reasons why I don't like these people, right? But that's just for me. Yeah, I don't. So I'm not going to let him get away with that. Cam Newton is wants women to go back to a state where they are simply more passive. He doesn't like women who are active, right? He doesn't like women who like are like professional, right? He doesn't like women who like are apparently in sports, right? He talks about like he's surprised that women understand sports in general, right? This guy has like the most toxic form of, well, maybe not the most toxic, but a toxic form of patriarchal view on society, and yeah, fuck that guy. There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on, wait. One thing, Django, but before we launch into Prime, Django, I do want to tell you that, like in the full clip, he talks about men like extensively. They went down multiple storylines talking about men. It was talking about how men not real, specifically rappers, how they not living out west in their raps, and how that's influencing kids who believe what they're saying, but they don't understand that it's fake.
Oh,
He talked
so
about
the part I saw afterwards was only up until he kind of gave the story
no,
about.
I'm just trying to give you context because it's just not true that he didn't make lots of statements about men. They talked about prison, talked about niggas being scared that they gonna get raped when they go into prison, how that's
Wait,
just
wait.
not
So was
like
this
live.
wasn't right after, right? I'm assuming this was like way later in the conversation, or was it?
It was like within 5 minutes of talking about the women thing.
Did
Yeah,
they move off the topic and go back to it?
Yeah.
They talked about
Maybe.
this for like I mean
thought
a
I did
long
off as soon as they got off that, and then because I just assumed they would be done with it. Because I
Yeah,
remember
they
he told
weren't.
the story about him and his cousin or whatever, and then after that is when I did. So I'll agree that I seemingly missed that.
That's cool. No. And I'm not. I know you
Yeah,
said
good.
you
I'm
didn't
just-
have time to watch
Yeah,
the whole thing, so I'm just saying you should because it's like it's wonderful. It's wonderful.
Mhm.
Yeah, if we're talking about people being not real, that's cool. I guess I would still want to push the other half of it that I was saying of like his prescriptions could easily just go towards guys though in a lot of ways of like people. I guess though what he's
But he didn't.
what he's probably
He
saying
sent it
is
to
that
women.
yeah, I know. That's why I'm partially criticizing. But the thing I will probably also say is that it seems like he's trying to tailor it not well. I don't know. It's weird because he kind of says he's talking about bad bitches and then talking about what a woman should be. And obviously, it's not just when he says it's for me. It's obviously for himself, yes, but it's his opinion on what other people should do.
Sure.
General, yes.
I have no problem
I'm
with his
just-
prescription.
That's
'Cause
fine.
I
I'm
would
just-
agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with him that this is what should happen. I think
Right.
the thing is, but while I think that this is what should happen, I think plenty of people will choose other alternatives. And of course, we live in a world where freedom is obviously something to cherish. And so we can say, while I think you should do this, this is what's good. I believe that you should raise your kids, and you should do so in a two-parent household. I believe you should be heavily involved in that way. I believe you should be married before you have your children. Now, some people literally don't believe in marriage and just believe in cohabiting and having children that way. That's their prerogative.
Yeah. So,
But
all
I'm
of
saying
that-
you should do this.
Yeah. But so specifically with the man leading though is the part that I'm curious about because that's kind
Yeah,
of
I
what
think men
but
should
then
lead.
all the other stuff
Yeah.
is I agree with
There
you
we go.
100%. All those are super important.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
What?
Like let's be all the way honest. Like if the man isn't leading, you know what I'm saying? If he isn't a certain type of typical male, like you know what I'm saying? Like most women aren't even gonna give him like that time of day. They're not gonna want that
Exactly.
relationship where they are
yeah,
dominant.
that's
and
fine.
on
They don't
top.
have to.
And then
You act like that's a weird thing in a
Yeah,
relationship.
it's
We're
and
No
that's
relationship
not
dynamics
something
are supposed to be
that's
working
uncommon.
off of each other, right? Like if one person's
No, but
not
we're-
gonna work with that other
We're
person
just
because they have
we're
different.
just saying the thing that happens in the majority of relationships is probably what should happen, and we're okay with it. We're not
Yeah,
saying that
all
you
I'm asking
can't.
why is that?
No,
the
but
shit?
we're not saying that you can't live in a different configuration if you would choose to.
yeah,
You
if you want
just
to,
so
that's
happen
fine.
to
know.
want to.
I'm
That's
never.
fine.
I'm not arguing against that part. I'm asking like what. So why specifically is that prescription with the man leading? Why is that the good one? That's all I'm asking.
Oh,
I think-
sure. So I think there's already like, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, I think there's already like plenty of things that we recognize that are like natural things for men. For example, like disagreeableness. Because if you're going to be leading someone, then you're probably going to have to deal with certain sorts of confrontation. Part of the thing about leading is recognizing that life has adversities and being the person who says, I'm willing to face these adversities in order to make sure that we're able to overcome. Because life is challenging just in its own nature. If you're a person that's particularly agreeable, then you're going to probably be a lot more feckless when it comes to dealing with some of the like the issues that happen in life. And so if that's the case, then it makes all of the sense in the world that we would say a man who's more likely to be more confrontational and therefore able to overcome more of these obstacles would probably be the better person to lead.
yes.
Second, go ahead. That's enough right there. That's enough.
Yeah, I'm just gonna focus on that because we can go to the second part if needed. But so with that alone, would you say it's a better configuration for a woman with more disagreeableness and like that, able to take more of that on, to not be the leader there? If that was the case?
I would say because there are situations, you're totally right, where there are women who just are naturally more disagreeable and things like that. And in those cases, and I guess then those women can probably take on some of the leadership positions in those relationships. It just seems like numerically that there's worse outcomes for women that are in those kind of things, like that are like leaders. Even the most aggressive of women still want a man to lead them. It is just the desire of women to be in that way in most cases. Now, obviously, there can be exceptions, but in most cases, this is what's the normal. And I think it's because normally, I think women who are acting in that way are typically acting outside of the typical nature of women. And I think most of them that's learned behavior.
I don't think it's that. I think it's that they're uncomfortable with being the leader in that situation. They want, like you're saying, they want someone else to be the leader, but that doesn't mean that they shouldn't be the leader. That just means that they don't feel like they're supposed to be in this relationship. That's fine.
If it feels awkward and unnatural, I would probably say that they should probably go with what feels a little bit more natural and less awkward.
Yeah, in that situation, I would say that, but I'm also saying that it would probably be better if they wanted to do the role that they seem to be better at. And if you're better at being the leader, take on the leadership role. That seems like, obviously it's at a disconnect with what they want emotionally, though, right? I understand.
Well, sure. So what you're basically saying is they should follow their natural inclination, despite the fact that like their natural inclination is still asking. I mean, it's leading them to want someone else to do it. So then, if your natural inclination is something that's leaving you awkward, then it's probably meaning that this natural inclination is probably not natural. It's probably environmentally caused or some learned behavior that probably you would want to like distance yourself from. Like, but until you have that, then go ahead and do what you got to do. And if this is what your strong suit, follow your strong suits. But you probably you're gonna have to probably help that man learn to be a little bit more alpha, so that way you can actually rest in the place that you want to. Because I think that's like femininity. Like lots of women would like to rest in their femininity, and I don't think you can do that when you have to be an alpha because you have some feckless cuck next to you.
Isn't it exhausting though, leading the relationship all the time? Is that not exhausting? Okay,
sure.
So then,
but it's our job.
Yeah.
Because women.
But why?
Okay,
I just have a quick follow up. So then, why would it not be better to have a partner in that leadership? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, why does it have to be one-sided leadership? That's what I'm hearing.
I think they were
part of.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. I was going to say a part of leading is understanding that somebody is being listened to you and taking into account so there should be input from. We're not saying like, hey, get your ass in there and cook. Like that's not what we're advocating for, right? Like it's a melding of.
Like
that's what Cama's going for.
No. To be fair.
No.
What? What?
So
I feel.
I understand. Like I think if he presented it like Fanatics presenting it, and it's possible that he's just not as eloquent with the wording. The problem is the
he's
way
a football player.
Yeah.
Come on.
But all I have to go off is what he is saying, right? So like, what he is saying, what's coming out of his mouth, even if it's not what he means, is kind of what we're working with. And what's coming out of his mouth is that, hey, let the man lead, and it sounds like he's saying, shut up and let the man lead. But what he's saying is like, listen to your man and help him out while he leads.
I think it's unfair to listen to his words in a silo. Us, like if we weren't black, maybe, right? But we all understand black culture. I think we should be able to translate him saying that to something more like charitable to kind of what me and Fanatic are saying. I don't think we should engage with this as he's a tyrant saying that women should just let the hell
That's
up.
why I'm also like,
intention.
Exactly.
You don't. It's not a translation that you're having to do, though.
Keep your mind open to be like, either one is very possibly what he meant. Like he could literally mean either, and you would have to ask him more questions to get further down that tree.
No, I would say, given the context on how he's also critical of men and the things that he's exactly critical for, is understanding that
he's critical of men. Oh wow.
So what?
Oh, this is terrible. He's critical of men. Oh, sorry.
No, Smooth. Go ahead. If you listen to the entire body of work, I don't think anyone comes away with. You can't say
wait, hold on.
It really doesn't matter.
Prime. Are you making the statement that greater context doesn't matter?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not making. I didn't say I was making that statement. I'm saying that though. Cam Newton and his words like
In that
saying
clip?
that he also like criticizes men like means nothing. Okay, great,
Well,
yeah,
I'm trying to
right.
give more context.
Like racist people have criticisms of lots of things, right? It doesn't negate the fact that they're racist. The fact that he criticizes men as well doesn't negate his sexism. So like whatever, sure.
Wait,
Okay,
no, but
Well, hold on.
what
He's
I'm
having,
saying
he's
is,
having
hold
a
on, hold on.
criticism of black
it's a
people,
bit
and
extreme.
then he's having a criticism of two different races, but he would be saying like another race's culture and my own culture is basically what he's saying.
No. Like he's
And
talking about the confines of a relationship, and I think you have to do a lot of work to not naturally understand what he's saying. I think it's the reverse of what y'all are saying,
Nope.
or maybe
I
we've just
feel like
been like,
if you really look at what he said, right, and how he started, he said my dad has been with my mother for 37 years, right? That's what he said. That was his basis.
That it starts at home. The toxicness starts at home. Yeah, I believe his dad taught him poorly. I get that. Yeah, I believe that.
Okay, that's very disingenuous. But to say his dad just taught him poorly, I mean, clearly Cam Newton is successful, so something went right.
That had nothing on. That has nothing to do with
Wait,
how you
hold on, no.
Abusers,
Okay, hold on.
abusers
Okay,
can
how
be
about
a billionaires. Like the fuck? Oh, he's got money, so something must have went right. No, his dad taught him poorly. Didn't teach him the proper way to be a man, right? If this is how he's behaving, no. So if he wants to go there, then yeah, his dad did a shit job. If his prescription on the end is women should quiet down and let men lead, right? And that if you are trying to take control of your life, right? Meaning a quote unquote bad B, right? Which is what he was saying before. Then that's a problem, right? That's not. If he's saying his parents taught him that, his parents did badly. Go ahead.
so
listen. Even the greatest captain of a ship, right? He has other people that do other jobs, and he will listen to what they say. They're an expert in that field. If your woman happens to be an expert in that field, he would naturally yield the floor in that occurrence to let her take point on that issue.
Yeah.
Being a leader is also
100%.
knowing when to follow. You have to know when to follow. You can't just run
sleep on the floor
trap all the time.
Yeah,
no, Prime, you are right.
Like, I'm sure the women are experts in those things, right? And
for sure,
sweeping, home care, right? It's
it's
almost natural. It's almost their natural place, right? Like maybe, right? I don't know.
No, it's not as much as like, oh, they're naturally meant to do this. It's saying, hey, like in the dynamic of the relationship, you're the one who's better at this. Take the lead at the thing you know how to do and the responsibility in the relationship. And then
and men are the leaders.
Let men take the other half.
They're the natural leaders.
That's the part that I disagree with. That men
are natural
ought be the leader. But
see, there you go.
We agree.
See, no, if you see, there you go. They're proving me right. So
yeah,
go ahead.
I don't know.
I'm sorry. I don't. You don't got to steal man for me. Yes, I stand by that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Men are natural leaders. I think that, like, literally, they're not. I think again that disagreeableness, which is like inherent to more testosterone-based individuals, is something that's literally essential for leading. I think logical decisions are significantly more impactful for decision making. Now, obviously, you have to make some decisions from the place of human-based values, and so you're going to probably need to do both. And I think that women are amazing at like making sure that they're steering. And I've always loved this saying where they said that men are the head, but the women are the neck, and they can somewhat steer the ship, and they get to control what that head does. And I believe absolutely every man needs to listen to his wife, and that she has probably valuable input. But I do think that there are areas of expertise. I'm not going to go into the kitchen and tell her, I don't think you should use nutmeg there. Use cinnamon. Like, what the freak are you talking about? That's not my area.
And the head is below.
You do.
The neck is below the head, right? Just want to make sure that we got.
I mean, it depends. You know, it is.
I mean, yeah. It is. Yeah, it is.
I mean, that doesn't mean that it doesn't have. That doesn't mean it has less value. The neck, because obviously
that's not how that works.
The hand is lower than the hand is lower than the shoulder.
But like it's not actual metaphor. So like it's a strained metaphor. So I mean, whatever. But like it's a strained metaphor. I'm just like working within the logic of it when there's very little.
But that wasn't no. You can't.
But that's like not how actual human relationships work, right? It's not like how human relationships work. So like we do less value. We devalue women, right, in our society while men.
I'm again, what we're arguing right now is not about like whether or not some men have the tendency to do this, because obviously we recognize that some men have the tendency not to. What we're arguing about, like bringing up the fact that people devalue women, is only relevant if it's an inherent or necessary portion of the thing that we're discussing, and it isn't. I think you can absolutely recognize that men can be leaders while still recognizing that the absolute value of a woman making a house a home is absolutely essential. The idea of like someone having a humongous impact on childbearing, I think one of the most important things that you could ever do in your entire life is raise children. And I think women should have more of an impact on children than men do. And I think that's probably the most important job literally in the world, one of the top two. So then it's like, to me, it's like, no, I don't think that you're any less valuable. And I don't think that I don't have value when it comes to like children. But I do think I would play second fiddle when it comes to my wife in that regard, where it's like, dang, like, you know, this is how I feel. But she spends more time with these kids than I do, without a doubt. She probably, you know, she's literally known them more because they've been literally nine freaking months inside of her freaking stomach. There's like all of these things, really 10 months. But anyway, there's all of these things that we know, like where it's like, yeah, this is areas of expertise. And these things aren't less value. It's just, this is
exactly.
That doesn't make any sense.
Everybody who understands relationships understands this. Just because you have a different role doesn't mean you have less value.